Every year, more than 5 billion pizzas are eaten around the world, making this dish one of the most beloved fast foods on the planet. But how can such an enormous demand be met? To find out, we will step inside one of the Domino's facilities in the United States to see how they produce and deliver millions of pizzas every single day. Modern pizza has deep roots that go back to ancient civilizations. The Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans already prepared flatbreads covered with oils, herbs, or honey, baked in stone ovens or over hot coals. These were basic, affordable, and nutritious foods, similar to what we now know as focaccia. However, the pizza as we know it today was born in Naples, Italy in the 18th century. There, local bakers began combining dough with tomatoes, an ingredient that had arrived from the Americas after Columbus's voyages. This gave rise to early versions such as the pizza marinara, topped with garlic, oregano, and oil. It was a street food for workers, sold at the ports by travelling vendors. The turning point in pizza history came in 1889, when Neapolitan master pizzaiolo Raffaele Esposito created the famous Margherita pizza in honour of Queen Margherita of Savoy. He used red tomatoes, white mozzarella, and green basil to represent the colours of the Italian flag, turning a humble food into a national symbol. From Naples, Italian immigrants carried pizza to the United States in the late 19th century, where it began to evolve. New styles were born, like the thin and crispy New York pizza or the deep and heavy Chicago version. Today, pizza is a global phenomenon. In the United States alone, 3 billion pizzas are consumed every year, generating more than $40 billion in revenue. And when we talk about pizza in the United States, one name dominates the conversation: Domino's. The story of this franchise began in 1960 when brothers Tom and James Monaghan bought a small pizzeria called Dominos in Ypsilanti, Michigan for $900. A year later, Tom took full control and made a bold move for the time, delivering pizza straight to the customer's door. In 1965, he designed and patented the corrugated cardboard box that kept the pizza hot, protected it during transport, and made it possible to stack multiple boxes without damaging them, a key innovation for delivery. Then, in 1973, Domino's launched the famous campaign, "Delivered in 30 minutes or it's free," a marketing gamble that skyrocketed the brand's popularity. Today, Domino's is a giant. More than 20,000 stores in 90 countries, hundreds of thousands of employees, and a global operation powered by advanced technology, digital orders, and precision logistics. What began as a Neapolitan pizza made for a queen became a modern empire on wheels. But how do the biggest pizza industries keep everything running? To answer that, let's start with the heart of the process: the industrial pizza dough, a base that seems simple but defines the quality of every single bite. Unlike homemade dough, where ingredients are mixed by feel, industrial production is a perfect balance between chemistry, machinery, and logistics. It is not about making one or two pizzas. It is about ensuring that millions come out exactly the same every day, with identical flavour, texture, and consistency. It all begins with high-performance wheat flour, typically the 00 or strong type, containing between 12 and 14% gluten. This protein gives the dough its elasticity and allows it to form a light yet firm crust when baked. The water is not just any water. It is filtered and kept between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius to activate the yeast without stressing it. Yeast, whether fresh or instant, is responsible for inflating the dough with carbon dioxide, creating the bubbles that make it airy and fluffy. Salt does more than add flavour. It strengthens the gluten network and regulates fermentation speed. It is used in an exact proportion, between 1.5 and 2% of the flour's total weight. Sugar, besides feeding the yeast, provides a subtle sweetness and helps the crust brown perfectly during baking thanks to the Maillard reaction. And oil, whether vegetable or olive, softens the dough, improves handling, and prevents it from sticking to surfaces. But what is truly impressive is how everything is measured. There are no improvised cups or spoons here. Every ingredient is dosed using automated systems that weigh exact quantities to the gram. Imagine a single batch of about 370 kilograms made of 250 kilograms of flour, 200 liters of water, 8 kilograms of salt, 5 of sugar, 4 of yeast, and 10 liters of oil. All of this is adjusted according to each brand's recipe or pizza style. That precision is what ensures that a pizza purchased anywhere in the world tastes exactly the same as the last one. To bring the dough to life, giant industrial mixers are required, machines capable of handling up to 1,000 kilograms per batch. Everything begins with a crucial step: waking up the yeast. It is mixed in warm water with a little sugar. Within minutes, it turns into a living sponge, releasing carbon dioxide and alcohol, the foundation of the pizza's volume and flavor. Meanwhile, the oil and salt are integrated, not randomly, but with industrial tools that incorporate air and prevent clumps. Then comes the flour, added gradually through dosing belts to ensure uniform mixing. Once everything is ready, the dough enters the kneading stage. The machines work at speeds between 100 and 300 revolutions per minute for 5 to 10 minutes. There is no room for error. Over-kneading makes the dough tough, under-kneading makes it weak. The goal is to reach ideal hydration between 55 and 65% to achieve that elastic but manageable texture. Built-in sensors even monitor the internal temperature, which must stay around 27 degrees, because overheating could kill the yeast. Once ready, the dough is transferred into stainless steel containers and placed in controlled fermentation chambers. There, it remains between 25 and 30 degrees with 70% humidity for 1 to 2 hours. In that environment, the yeast transforms sugars into carbon dioxide, creating the bubbles that make the dough soft, while compounds such as alcohols and lactic acids begin to develop deeper flavors. To optimize and stabilize the process, industries use dough enhancers such as enzymes or conditioners that strengthen the gluten structure and prevent tearing during stretching. In chains like Domino's, a key variant is cold fermentation. Instead of letting everything happen immediately, the dough is cooled to between 4 and 7 degrees and stored for up to 48 hours without losing quality. The cold slows down yeast activity, but does not stop the chemical reactions that build flavor. The result is a more stable, more aromatic dough that can be turned into thousands of pizzas with perfect consistency. When fermentation ends, the dough is not handled by hand. It travels along industrial rails to a divider machine capable of processing up to 1 ton per hour. There begins a precise transformation. The dough is pushed through a conical tube that shapes it into a continuous cord, like a giant sausage ready to be portioned. Hydraulic or pneumatic blades cut each piece with millimeter precision. About 200 grams for small pizzas, 300 for medium, and 400 for large. After cutting, each piece drops into an automatic rounder. With conical rollers or vibration systems, those portions are shaped into perfectly uniform balls, ready to be stretched without deforming. Before moving on, each one passes through a metal detector, a mandatory safety measure to protect consumers. Robotic arms then place the dough balls onto plastic trays, usually 8 per tray, spaced apart so they do not stick as they continue their residual rise. Each tray is labelled with its batch code and date, allowing full traceability from origin to oven. Once organised, the trays enter a cooling system that does not freeze the dough but controls its rhythm. They are kept at 4 degrees Celsius for exactly 1 hour, just enough to make the yeast inactive without losing its properties. Freezing would stop fermentation completely and alter the final texture, so this point is critical. After the initial cooling, the trays are stacked in towers of 25 units using automatic machines and placed on rolling carts. From there, they go into cold rooms kept between 2 and 4 degrees, where they can stay for up to 2 days without losing quality. When everything is ready, refrigerated trucks take over. They are loaded overnight to avoid traffic and deliver the dough fresh to each franchise before opening hours. Thanks to this system, the dough arrives in perfect condition to be stretched, topped, and baked without delay. Once the dough balls reach each franchise, another key stage begins, shaping them into the perfect base for every pizza. The packages arrive on refrigerated trays and are stored in cold rooms. They are not frozen, only resting, to preserve their elasticity and flavour. A few hours before service, workers take the trays out and let the dough reach room temperature. This wakes up the yeast and restores its flexibility. Each ball is placed on a preparation table lightly dusted with flour or cornstarch to prevent sticking, and from there begins the signature Domino's process. Unlike the Neapolitan style, where the dough is tossed into the air, Domino's uses a hybrid method that combines manual skill with specialized tools. First, the worker presses the center of the dough with their fingers to push the air toward the edges, forming the characteristic crust. Then, depending on the pizza type, thin, pan, hand-tossed, or Brooklyn style, the dough is placed into a press or a roller. These machines flatten it to the exact thickness needed, but without removing all the internal air, which ensures a crust that is crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. When the recipe calls for it, the final stretch is completed by hand. Workers lift and rotate the dough over their knuckles to give it perfect diameter and symmetry. The experience of the operator ensures there are no tears or deformities and that the edge keeps its original volume. Once ready, the dough is placed on metal screens, perforated trays, or greased pans, depending on the pizza style. In less than a minute, it is ready to receive the sauce, cheese, and toppings. Thanks to this combination of industrial precision and human touch, every pizza maintains the brand's standard without slowing down even during peak hours. And just like that, a batch that began as hundreds of kilos of dough ends up in the hands of a worker who, in seconds, transforms it into the perfect base of a pizza that will enter the oven only minutes later. But how do they make the sauce that tops the pizza? Domino's sauce is not prepared in the stores, but in specialized factories that produce thousands of liters per day with near-surgical precision. It all begins with massive boxes of premium tomato paste, weighing over 600 kilograms each. The paste is unloaded into industrial mixers, where it is softened and pumped into enormous tanks of almost 5,000 liters. That is where the real transformation begins. The paste is blended with salt, vinegar, sweeteners, and a spice mix designed to enhance flavor. Garlic, oregano, basil, black pepper, chili powder, citric acid, and even a touch of mint, with 40% more herbs than in previous recipes, create a more intense and aromatic profile. The mixture is stirred and heated for several minutes until it reaches a creamy texture, ideal for spreading without soaking the dough. Afterward, it is packed into 1-liter containers, refrigerated, and sent directly to the supply centers, ready to be distributed to thousands of stores. And what about the cheese? The mozzarella follows an equally impressive journey. Suppliers receive partially skimmed milk in tanker trucks that unload at an astonishing rate, nearly 15,000 liters per minute. The milk is stored, pasteurized at over 70 degrees to eliminate bacteria, and then cooled before entering the fermentation tanks. There, cultures such as Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus delbrueckii transform the sugars into lactic acid, giving mozzarella its characteristic tang. When the milk is ready, rennet is added to coagulate it into a gel-like curd. Industrial agitators cut the curd into small cubes and separate the whey, which is not wasted but turned into protein powder. The remaining curd is drained, cooked, and stretched at around 58 degrees Celsius in machines that develop its elasticity. Then, it is cut into blocks, submerged in brine for hours to absorb flavor and improve preservation, and finally shredded into small pieces. The finished cheese is packed into bags of more than 2 kilograms and kept refrigerated until shipped to the franchises. As for the pepperoni, the undisputed king of pizza toppings, it is made in specialized plants where every slice follows a process as meticulous as that of a gourmet cured meat. The recipe combines 80% pork, mainly from shoulder and loin, prized for their marbled fat, with 20% beef, which provides firmness and a stronger flavor. The mixture is ground and inoculated with lactobacillus cultures to start fermentation. It is then seasoned with salt, paprika, cayenne, and fennel seeds before being stuffed into collagen casings. From there, the process becomes almost surgical. Fermentation at high temperature and controlled humidity for 1 or 2 days, long drying for about 60 days, and a natural mold layer that develops and is later cleaned to enhance its distinctive flavor. Finally, it is peeled, sliced into ultra-thin 2mm sheets, vacuum sealed and refrigerated before being sent to the distribution centres. The rest of the ingredients, sausage, ham, onions, peppers, and more, go through similar processes: careful selection, precise cutting, cold preservation, and temperature-controlled transport to maintain freshness all the way to each store. All toppings are stored in refrigerated chambers, ready to be shipped as soon as a franchise places an order. And that is where the most visible phase begins: the assembly at the stores. When an order comes in, everything moves in seconds. The fresh dough, already rested and stretched by the workers, is ready to receive the toppings. The sauce is not spread with an ordinary spoon. Domino's uses a special tool called the spood, a combination of ladle and spatula. With 3 precise circular motions, the sauce is spread evenly while leaving the edge free to form the crust. Then, 2 handfuls of mozzarella are scattered from the outside toward the centre to ensure even coverage. The toppings are placed in a spiral pattern so every slice gets its fair share. The pizza enters a conveyor oven heated to about 240 degrees Celsius, and in just 7 or 8 minutes, it comes out with a golden crust and bubbling cheese. As soon as it emerges, a worker cuts it into 8 slices, places it in a corrugated cardboard box, and within seconds, it is ready for delivery or pickup. Domino's does not just deliver pizzas, it delivers innovation. The heatwave thermal bags keep every pizza hot and crispy, while their apps allow customers to track their orders step by step. But they go even further. Domino's is already testing drones, self-driving vehicles with built-in ovens, and precise delivery systems that can bring your pizza to a beach, a park, or even a stadium, all by simply sharing your location. Behind all of this is a massive operation. Supply centres work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to serve franchises that together sell over 3 million pizzas per day. Refrigerated trucks deliver ingredients overnight, and every batch is labelled for instant traceability, ensuring safety and quality at every step. And when something does not work, they change it without hesitation. In 2010, Domino's reformulated its entire recipe: softer dough, richer sauce with more herbs, and higher quality cheese, winning customers back. That is how Domino's does more than bake pizzas. It transforms the way they reach your hands. So tell me, do you like Domino's Pizza, or do you think another franchise does it better? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, give it a like and subscribe. In the windows that follow, you will find more videos about industrial processes as fascinating as this one. See you in the next one.